G'day. Oh no, I clicked the wrong button. It's all gone weird.
You are fucking fat.
Oh, what? Yeah, here we go. Good. I'll fix it. G'day and welcome to the 76th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I am the technically challenged log power slave, and as always, I am joined by Mylan Games, real-time sloth, and this week we have a very special guest, the man who has done more podcasts than podcasts himself. He's the Destiny community's own Joe Rogan. He's on in everything but a shit sandwich. Danfinity, welcome to our humble podcast, man. How the fuck are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing very well. Just got back from like a dinner for Ginny's birthday, so I'm a couple beers in. Let's go. I'm ready.
He's in prime condition then. Good job.
Prime condition.
Good stuff. So, right. Well, we're going to get into you in a sec, but the other pair of you, how are you? I didn't mean that. That wasn't a euphemism. That was just like we're getting to discuss.
Based on the conversation we had earlier.
Yeah, man. Some of the stuff that happens before this show goes live is atrocious, and I'm going to start recording it for blackmail purposes. All right, Slothy, you've had a big week. You were just telling us. What have you been up to this week? Please enlighten us.
This week I've been...
Someone doing karate in the background there, man, or what?
It sounds like a bit of karate in the background there. Sloth, do you want to go check on something, and I can fill everyone into my
week? You just sort it out, Matt. I'll be back in the short.
All right. So
this is going really well.
Okay, so this week I was lucky enough to get through some Escalation Protocol.
Beautiful.
Warmind expansion, so that was up to level 7, which is really cool. I grinded out. I hadn't actually done the exotic sword quest yet. What's it called? Worldline 0. I hadn't collected all those things, so I spent a good whack of time. Oh, actually, this is what I did. Right, I pulled up Datto's video. I went from start to finish to get all the little collectibles to get Worldline 0, the little things you need to shoot.
Yeah. And
I got to the end of the video, and what was it? 44 out of 45. I'm like, oh no, I've missed one. Which one have I missed? And there's no system. You know, I spent hours just doing it methodically. I'm like, yep, get that one. And then I was like, oh my God, which one have I missed? I don't want to have to go through this all again. And I was lucky. I spawned into Hella Basin, and it was the one just there that I had missed. And I must have just, when I checked it, I must have sort of just checked it from the wrong angle and missed it. And I was so lucky. So like, yes, got that. Got the exotic sword, and that felt good to tick off. So I've still got the Sleeper Simulate still on my list to finish off, which I really want to get through. Got through a bunch of raids. Haven't finished the Spire yet, but I haven't really had a proper attempt at it either.
Yeah.
But sitting at 373, something like that now. So feeling pretty good.
Jesus, man. Flying up the levels. I mean, we played the other night and what did we do? Just stuff around, basically, play Iron Banner, and then blasted through Leviathan with 5 of us like it was nothing. So, honestly, if you're out there and you were hesitant to ever jump into the Leviathan, now is the time, because it's a breeze. Like, if raids aren't your thing.
We 5-manned it.
Yeah, and we're... Right? I mean...
And we're not skilled players.
I mean, Sassy is, but the rest of us are pretty shit. Well, Matt's all right. I'm shit. I'm calling myself shit. But I don't know. I mean, my life got really busy when Warmind came out, so I'm still trying to level as best I can and get up to that level so that I can give Spire Stars a reasonable crack. But when Slothy comes back, we'll get his thoughts on it, Dan. But what about you? You're here.
Yeah, my week, it was, so this week I've just been grinding light, man. I ran like a couple of raids earlier this week. I tried my first attempt at Prestige raid. So I just, that was interesting. We made it up to Callus, but couldn't quite clinch it after like 3 or 4 hours. And so we tried that, ran my first Escalation Protocol today as just like somebody, my buddy Jaden, 70910, he messaged me and was like, hey, Aura's trying to do Escalation Protocol, you want in? Sure. And we just breezed through it first go, which I was knocked out by.
Using 9-man, like the 9-man strategy that people have been doing? Right, okay.
Yeah. It was nine people. 2 of them were like 350s, but we like got the boss down pretty damn quickly. I was very surprised. It was a lot of fun. And I haven't attempted the new Spire raid yet, but yeah, that'll probably be next week or something. I'm sitting around like 372.
So, do you have Word Line 0, and did you do the catalyst for it on level 7 Escalation Protocol?
I have World Line 0. I do not have the catalyst for it.
Okay. Because I tried to do it, and I realized I didn't have like the first step for it, like the first catalyst. Wow. So, because I believe you have to unlock. So the catalyst, you have to kill things with sword, and doesn't even need to have power ammo. And I believe it's in Hella Basin, right? So equipped World Line 0, just keep smacking ads until you get like it unlocked, basically, because it's just question marks to start off with, and then you've got to do the Tesseract into the boss and do damage. I believe
the Tesseract,
which is just is Tesseract, whatever the dodge, like the right mouse button, like you run, it charges up, and then you can do like a teleport AoE sort of damage thingy, and that will activate, I think, 20% of the catalyst. So I don't know if it's going to be like every week they're going to have a new step to do, and it's going to get better and better.
Well, I mean, we can hope.
So that sounds
that sounds unreal. I mean, sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say I haven't really had much of a crack other than at Escalation Protocol, other than when we were doing it. So I'm interested to hear, like, well, I'll touch on what's in the TWAB this week, in basically where they've gone through and stepped out what their design philosophy behind it was, in that it was designed for 3 people. Anyone on top of that is a bonus, which is why it's in the public area, and it wasn't really intended to be this sort of like 9-man thing. And over the course of the week, there's been a hell of a lot of salt and angriness, and from both sides of people trying to put together 9-man fire teams that can't get people to fuck off out of the instance, or people who are just being, like, there's been a lot of shit stuff going on because of it. So for mine, like, I don't know. It's just I haven't 9-manned it. I haven't done that. I probably won't. I'll probably just leave it until later on and give it a crack with a 3-man now. It sounds like it's a pretty difficult thing to line up. So I don't know. What do you guys? How do you feel about it?
Do you want to do let's intro our guest and get through that, and then we can head on to
good idea. Good idea. Right. Yeah. So Dan, tell us about Dan. If someone had never encountered you, which is a great sadness for them, I assume. But
well, it's a great possibility too.
Please, in your own words, sum up yourself.
Hi guys, my name's Danfinity. I am a streamer and podcaster. I stream Destiny 2 mainly. I've been streaming for probably like 1.5 years or some change and stuff. I used to be on Destiny Tracker podcast each week, speaking with guests and hanging out with them. Now I'm on. I have my own podcast called Side Quest Sunday, where we talk to guests, not really about Destiny or like really about video games. Really, more about like just content creation, or what they ate this past Saturday, or whatever like content they're making and how they do it. Or like family stuff. We've talked about all sorts of stuff on the show so far, and it's been that's been a really cool thing. And recently, in the last month or two, I have joined Planet Destiny as a streamer every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern, and as a podcaster every Sunday night.
Beautiful.
Cool. So you got a busy schedule, man.
Man.
How do you fit all that in? What's a typical week look like for Danfinity?
A typical week for me. Well, so in about mid-April, I became unemployed. So literally, it has been me applying for jobs over the internet and on foot, and then just making content, because you don't quit the hustle that you're on. So yeah, it's literally, I'm editing podcasts. In April, I recorded probably 15 episodes, like interviews for SideQuest Sunday. So I have quite a bit of a backlog. So lately it's just been editing podcasts, streaming when I can, making sure that everything's in line and coming out on time. It's a whole process, but I'm finally refining it now. And when I get a job, that'll all go up in the air, and I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, then it goes into hard mode, man. You got to juggle.
Yeah.
Dude, like, you know, I have a lot of respect for people that like streaming, podcasting, content creation, because it's so many hours to put in there into you know, to get a following and get people listening and to entertain people, like working and then coming home and then doing that. It's tough. So, you know, the good part, I guess, about being unemployed, you can sink time into a lot of this stuff and build it, because I think that's where a lot of the difficulty is sort of building in the early stages. And then that's definitely where I built my YouTube channel. There's no way I could build my YouTube channel now with the work I'm doing. It just would fail. Right. It wouldn't happen. So that's cool, man. Yeah. Well, I'm not cool that you're unemployed, but cool that you've got time to like, like do your podcast. Like, right.
Dude, it's pretty awesome. Like the amount, I like sitting down and finally like focusing on it. You know what I mean? And like figuring out all the like tiny moving parts. I've been editing episodes from like the beginning of the podcast to now. I'm slowly seeing myself like get better as a host, and just the quality jump leaps and bounds. It's been really incredible. And so the fact that I have the time now, I feel like I need to use it for this, because otherwise I would not. I wouldn't have the ability to learn as much as I have right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. And like, as someone who's, you know, like I do my best. I try and stream when I can. I do this podcast, and this has sort of always been my priority, and everything else sort of is just when I get time. Sometimes like it's nearly impossible to be consistent if you're juggling too much, if you haven't had time to set yourself up with it properly. And I think that's it. Yeah. So, dude, SideQuest Sunday. This is something that, man, I'd missed it until Man at Arms was like, "Hey, I did this thing, and you should check it out." I love it, dude. What inspired that to sort of go speak to content creators, but not really have an agenda with what you speak about? Like Rick's episode of just speaking about being raised in the South and just all this sorts of random jobs and shit that he's done. I'm like, what the fuck? I've known this guy for a year and I didn't know most of this shit. So
right,
man.
Oh my god. Oh, go ahead.
He may well be the most interesting man in the world. Don't tell him I said that, but seriously, there's so many yards on that.
Like, he's led them. Look, he was a bail bondsman, and he like had to bring his buddy in. Like that sounds like something out of a drama. You know what I mean? Or out of like some cop comedy. But like, yeah, no. Well, when you see like spotlights on people, I feel like there's enough content creators in the world, and also like a bunch of there's a bunch of content creators out in the world. There's enough interest in the creators themselves and what they make that I feel like it justifies talking to them on a human level. And like it, rather than like, oh yeah, well you play this game. Why do you play this game? And then like they're just branded for that thing. I listened to when I was working at a library. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them were interview style. So like WTF with Mark Maron, or Nerdist, things along those lines. And you start finding out like they're dealing with like celebrities and comedians and all sorts of stuff. But you start realizing that like Josh Brolin is really into poetry, or like something else that you wouldn't necessarily know if you just saw like a 5-minute interview with them. And so I felt like a long form conversation with content creators was something that wasn't really done in the gaming sphere yet. And so I've taken the opportunity to kind of like fill that gap, and it's been really awesome, man. I've like there's one of my favorite episodes is Carolina Gamer 99. He holds the world record for the fastest Eater of Worlds completion. I think it's like under 19 minutes. And
wow.
He he was like when Spire of Stars came out, his team was like number 3 in progression.
Ooh.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've been raiding with this guy for about a year, and he never really opened up, but we did an episode, and dude, I learned so much about him personally that I didn't know prior. Like just being in a gaming session with him, had no idea. So
okay, so on that note, now you're going to have to tell us something about yourself that people wouldn't know if they just watch your streams.
Yeah. Man,
Let's
I'm pretty open on my
Sunday,
streams.
Danfinity.
Yeah, I'm pretty open on my streams.
Okay. Maybe
here's
the average person, like what's something, on the topic, that sometimes we only know people for the games they play and maybe what achievements they did in Destiny 2. What's something else that you would want to tell people about?
Let's see here. I grew up on a farm in Indiana. For those of you who don't know what Indiana is, it is in the Midwest, in the American Midwest. And it is the farm that I grew up on, we raised sheep and everything. So we would there were long sections of my childhood where we would go around the region, just picking up like different rams and stuff to add to the flock and like kind of touring around. That kind of led me to like a wanderlust where I was like in bands for like over 10 years, just kind of wandering around. The farthest I went was like a tour out to California and back with a band, and it's I've seen a lot, and if there's something like knowing that I've done a lot in my life, and then now I'm streaming and I'm making podcasts and all sorts of stuff. Everybody else has got to have a really interesting story, man.
Dude, it's true. It is. It's absolutely true. Like, I mean, even that, like, you and I have spoken about music and stuff in the past and all of that,
yeah.
and that's not the most uncommon sort of backstory. But man, I've never stepped foot on a farm in my life, so there you go.
It definitely shows, mate.
Yeah, I mean, functionally fucking useless. The least handy man in the world. But, moving right along. I it's a breath of fresh air, man. Honestly, I really enjoyed it, and I've really enjoyed, I think, everyone, when you encounter people, especially as a content creator and a Destiny content creator as part of this, crazy little world that we inhabit, you kind of, you really only get one facet. Maybe people do a few different things. It's like Matt with lore. Like Matt is, he's all over the lore, and that's what people come to him for, and that's what people expect out of him. But since starting the podcast, there's a hell of a lot more to him than that. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to try and draw that out of people. And have you had a guest yet that you've been you've known that there was a story in, but they were kind of hesitant to put that forth, or has it just been very easy to get into that conversational sort of stuff?
With everybody, it's a little bit different, Like with some people, I mean, like Man at Arms is the perfect example of I didn't have to pull the rope that hard in order to get him to start talking.
Dude, I reckon you can put him in a room by himself and get the same
He
content.
doesn't fucking shut up.
Yeah. I don't know. Like that was super interesting. The episode that's coming out this week is Evil Aura, and he and I have kind of been around the same circle for I've been subbed to him for about a year, and so we've struck up like a friendship, and mainly right now I'm talking to Destiny creators because that's the community I know.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that like that's the only people that I want to talk to, but like, it's really interesting that I can start in like a small sector of the gaming world and then like I can go anywhere from here. It doesn't matter. There have been some really challenging ones so far, but those were kind of early episodes. And I feel I've gotten like a lot better as a host and an interviewer since like the first probably 10.
That's the other aspect of it, man. Like, you've got to be able to put something of yourself into every episode too, and find common ground and all of that sort of stuff. You know, like this podcast, it's and I mean, as much as it's not the most professional podcast in the world, it's easy because if I've got nothing to say, almost certainly Matt has something to say, or Sloth has something to say, and I can just shut up for a bit, and it kind of goes on into autopilot. Where when it's a one-on-one interview, there's that level of intimacy there, where, you know, if you let the rapport fall apart, it's bad. You know,
Right.
I mean, dude, I think you're doing a great thing. So congrats on that. And it's if you're listening to this now and you haven't yet checked it out, go and check it out, please. It's a breath of fresh air. Seriously, it's just fun.
Nice.
All right. Do we want to move into talking about actual Destiny, or I mean,
let's go into Escalation Protocol.
All right. Let's. Well, what we might do, I've done up the notes and I've paraphrased sort of the TWAB this week and thrown in a few little news stories that have come up.
Are we actually going to be doing the news this week, gentlemen?
Yes, we are doing the news. Should I do the fucking...
Yeah,
do
you
right,
should do the thing, yeah.
Good. No, I don't want to have to do that again, so be responsible. All right, first things first. Bannerfall is back. The map is back. It's been Iron Banner rotation. It's the Trials map this week. If you really desperately need to see it immediately, I guess you can go and play Trials and get your head blown off. But it's good. I don't know. I mean, it looks like Bannerfall. It looks basically what we expect Bannerfall to look out. And I think these kind of little surprise maps that are coming through. I mean, we saw it with what's the Burning Shrine called now? You know, like little things thrown into the pool every now and then helps to freshen things up, and it's free content for people. So, good. Any thoughts on that? Anyone? No, good.
I haven't really played it yet, but I've been enjoying Iron Banner. I've been getting into Iron Banner, so.
Listen, Bannerfall D2 is a great recreation, just like Burnout was. It's a great recreation of the original Bannerfall. It's been damaged, it's been shot up, so it definitely the war has definitely touched it and all that sort of thing. It's a quite well designed map. Yeah, people would be like, it's recycled content. Listen, go fuck yourself.
The end.
It's quite a good map. I actually have had the pleasure of playing on it several times, and it's actually a lot of fun to play.
I got it once, and I got thrown into a game late, and it was like, guess what? You're on Bannerfall, and I like ran into the middle. And then got shot, and then the game was over. So, thanks. That's just matchmaking, but that's pretty much my luck for most things. All right, let's get this over and done with, because it's
like a Band-Aid. Let's just
rip it straight off.
All right. Do you all right. Do you want me to go through the tiny little rant that I had before the cast? Tiny little rant, then we're done.
Well, let's explain what we're talking about first. The Iron Lord Salute emote being only available through the Eververse store. It raised some issues this week. Now, personally, I will say that I'm glad that Bungie have put into Eververse a system of being able to 100% purchase the thing that you want. I think that there is no RNG involved in this. It is just an outright purchase, and I like that. There's not much else about it that I like. I don't even like the emote particularly, but the price point, I think, is probably too expensive for what it is. And the fact that it's kind of, there's that Iron Banner tie-in. And I think that's a lot of people's issue, was that, effectively you could argue that it's Iron Banner content, and it's a free event, and it's,
no one is thinking about the lore in this. No one is thinking about. People are thinking about their fucking wallets and their social standing between their friends. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you want to buy it, buy it. Done. Let's move on.
Yeah, look, I want to say just look. I want to say we'll say a couple things and we move on, right? So, look, I just think it was a bit ill-timed. I think Bungie had done a lot since the summer to sort of rebuild, and Warmind had done, mixed reviews, but in general, people were enjoying the grind. There's still some people complaining it's too hard, blah, but, it was definitely on the mend. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was the right time to release that. I feel like they were starting to gather some momentum with the community again.
Yeah.
And the only other thing is I just think just give an equivalent that you can earn, not maybe the exact emote, but just make sure that you add another exotic emote that people can grind hours in Iron Banner and get to. And then I think, and I agree with logs points as well. That's it.
You know what? Fair enough. But at the end of the day, as Log said, microtransactions suck. You guys know that. Anybody who's watched the podcast or any of our personal channels, including Dan's, microtransactions in AAA titles suck bollocks. Guess what? It's something that isn't going to go away anytime soon. So like I said, if you want it, buy it. If you don't want it, buy it. Don't buy it. Don't give people shit for wanting to buy it. Yeah. Don't fucking threaten Bungie developers' lives because you don't like it.
Oh, we got to that earlier in the podcast this week. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be a dick. Volume 187.
Don't be a fucking moron.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Dan
Danfinity has something to say. Dan has something to add, I think.
Good.
I just think that there's a lot more in the world that needs attention than just an emo right now. I get that it was a third of the cost or like half the cost of the DLC or something like that. I almost question whether it wasn't a Bungie decision and more an Activision decision, because it seems like Bungie has been they've been doing leaps and bounds to curry our favor since Curse of Osiris. I feel like they really started listening and started communicating. I saw Ramshackle had a tweet earlier today where she was like, they're really not communicating more than they were before Curse of Osiris. They're just saying things that we want to hear. And so we're seeing positive communication. Like Mylan, you went to the community event, and that's awesome, man. Thank you so much for going and giving your insight there. But man, there's a lot going on. I'm in Indianapolis right now, and there's some weird stuff that happened today with a school shooting. So
yeah,
keep it in context when you're complaining about something.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. And
it's the worst thing in the world to have a paid emote.
To touch on another thing I saw on Reddit, if you are seriously attacking people who went to the summit for changing the game to suit themselves, just fuck off.
Wait, did we talk about this last time?
No, we were talking about it on Thursday. But seriously, there are people out there who believe that people who went to the summit made the game harder because they're streamers, and then I don't even fucking follow the logic. But honestly,
it was quite highly upvoted, which surprised me. And it was basically streamers went to the summit to represent their own interests and represent their own businesses, and they made the game harder based on that. Yeah. And they have an advantage because they're on stream and they can organize 9 people escalation protocols, whereas
you know what
can't.
Yeah, they did. Some people did. They wanted to make the game harder because it fucking pandered to casuals. Is that so bad?
No.
Get out there and make some friends.
It's the thing, right?
Legitimately, get out there and make some friends. It's not difficult.
That's my thing as well. And I was actually on a podcast last week, right? And we had this conversation. I said there has to be some onus on you. If you can't find a community in Destiny 2 to help out, you're not going to find a community in any game, because this is one of the most open. There is a community to suit every single type of person in Destiny 2. There are ones for dads, there are ones for mums, there are ones for younger kids, ones for older people. There's ones for whatever. And you don't. It's not that hard to find a community that suits you, and that's always been Destiny's strength. And there has to be some onus on the person that's going, well, I only want to play solo. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to get the full experience of the game. This game is not intended to just be played solo.
Exactly.
It is meant to be played in a team. And if you're not going to reach out, and look, I understand like there are some people who have anxiety. There are some people who have disability. There are some people who don't like talking. Well, maybe this game is not for you then, because but there is aspects of this game that should be a team part.
Oh,
just to touch on what you said before, like there is a fucking clan for everyone, and if you don't want to join a clan, there is a stream for everyone in this in the fucking Twitch directory or the Mixer directory. Legitimately, don't blame people because you can't find a team to conduct it to do end game content, and if you don't want to find a team, then guess what? You're one of those people that can't conduct end-game content because end-game content is team-based.
Right.
Hooray, everyone!
No, wait, but you know what? You know what? Every time there is a high-level PvE bit of content that comes out, someone works out how to solo it, right? I mean, people soloing access. So really what needs to happen is that the people who want to play solo just need to get better at the game. It's not anyone else's fault. Just try harder, okay? It's
don't
just you.
Get better. Don't get bitter. Get better.
It's not my island's fault for going to the summit and taking under the table payments from Bungie to change and make the game harder.
No, but this is the thing, right? No, it wasn't content creators just saying we want a more challenging game. That was the community's feedback. Yeah. Destiny 2 was a walk in a park, and you could get everything within the first week. There was no proper end game. Everything felt devalued because you could get it. You could get everything from your fucking clan engrams without doing anything, right? So the feedback that we took was fucking Destiny 2 is too easy. And when you make things too easy and too easy to get, everything's devalued. Nothing has value. Exotics don't have value. They're too easy to get. But and so what do we say? Let's make it harder.
You have no idea on how much I just want to fucking unload at everyone who upvoted that post. You have no idea, but we need to move on.
Let's escalation. Dan, say something. This is a hard podcast with us three. What do you want to say?
Well, no. So what I was gonna say, I really like the change that they made to the clan Ingrams. I personally have a clan that's like over 100 or like around 100 members right now on PS4 side, and I received some gear that I should not have gotten for not playing that activity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got a Darkest before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a Darkest before. I have no right having that Darkest before, but thank you very much to those who got it for us. That was awesome. But the change that they've made to clan engrams, I feel is a mark in the right direction, because before it felt like a medal, like a participation medal. Yeah. Like rather than something that you could achieve. And that's what the addition of like Redrix's Claymore, that's what the repeal of the clan engram system kind of says to me, that they're interested in making it something to grind for.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that it comes up every now and then, and I don't understand like why people can be so upset by the like, oh, well, like the people who are outraged that I'm not going to be able to get Redrix's Claymore because I don't play PvP.
So
stiff shit.
Good.
Good. Like I don't care.
Find three people. People. Grind it out.
So like just.
Yeah, and I want to fly, motherfucker. I don't have wings. Shit. Life's unfair.
Like, legitimately,
right, let's move on.
If you are just focusing on Destiny, sort your fucking priorities out, for goodness sake. Anyway, Escalation Protocol. Intended as a high difficulty endgame is for a 3-man fire team. Would you that? 3-man fire team. High difficulty. High difficulty for a 3-man fire team.
Is this one of those things that the evil streamers and content creators made them put in the game?
Evil.
All right, I'm gonna make an actual effort to stop being a facetious little shit from now on and actually cover this objectively.
But at high enough levels would not be necessary, not intended for 9 players. Okay, so they have come out and said that Escalation Protocol was not intended for 9 players. And I can understand that it would be super challenging for 3 players. I believe it's been done a few times as well by people who've been grinding the heck out of it.
Yep.
And that's awesome. Like, congratulations for getting for going through that. Like, it's the same as getting the Redrix's Claymore. It's the same thing as fucking doing Carolina Gamer fucking melee only, the final boss at Spire of Stars. My goodness, sir, calm down. No,
Was
but
he a
like,
Titan?
yes,
Yes.
Boy, yes. Yes.
But like that is awesome. Well done. But you know what? The most fun I've had in Destiny with of late is 9-man Escalation Protocol, coming up with strategies. Like I'm 375, 376, so I'm not super high level, but I'm not super low level. I'm sort of median at the moment. It's a lot of fun getting 9 people in there, and yeah, it takes a while to sort of get people in, and sometimes you can like use the instant messaging system on PC. It's like, excuse me, can my mate add you so we can join on you? And if you don't mind, like, can we swap you out for our friends, and then maybe we can get you through a raid or trials a little bit later. Like just that little bit of bartering and all that sort of thing. We've had to do that a few times, and that's okay because people are usually okay with it. Or add me as a friend, and as soon as the spot frees up, you can jump in. We'll do EP with you as well. Like it's not difficult to sort of do that. People are saying that it's abusing the difficulty of the system, but even people at 385 are still struggled the hell out of downing that night.
It's pretty tough, man.
Last week. It's tough. It's tough.
I think people like don't, even though they kept saying it's end game, people are not like, their mind is not thinking like this should be the same as a raid. Like if you ask people, oh, I haven't finished raid yet, they don't care. Like it's okay. Like I'll get to it eventually. I just know I need to get a little bit higher. But if they're like, I haven't finished Escalation, dude, it's like week 2. You're not meant to have finished it yet. Like you've got until September. This is meant to last you until September. Just keep going into Leviathan, do your other raids, get your other gear, do your powerful end grabs, and just keep working till you get higher. And if you've only got 2 other friends, you guys, your goal is to get the max light. And then with 3 of you at max light, there's usually at least 2 other people in the raid. You can probably do Escalation Protocol. It's end game content. You're not meant to be able to, just because people are 9-manning it, and sort of, you know, using that matchmaking way of getting people into it, you know, that's not how they intended it to work. Of course it was going to happen, but that's not how they intended it to be.
You know what though? That's been happening since fucking day dot. Does it matter? Yeah. Not particularly. I mean, is it abuse? Is it an abuse of the system? I don't think so. It's another thing that helps people do the full game earlier than intended, and that's okay.
I think like from my perspective, I don't like that people are like getting shitty at each other about it. Like if there's someone in your instance doesn't give a fuck about it, I don't think that people should be like, oh, there was this guy in my instance and he just wouldn't fuck off. Like, well, you know, that's unfortunate, but it's, you know, you can't really be angry at someone for just jumping in and playing the game. The other side of it is, if it gives you a reason to actually engage with someone in the area, talk to a fucking stranger, make friends, I'm all for it. So I'm kind of like, I can see the 2 sides of it. With respect to it, like, I think the most important piece of dialogue that came out of all of this is that Bungie, in that little blurb that's in the 12, have sort of gone, well, you know, we're hearing the feedback that people are enjoying this 9-man against PvE sort of thing. You know, it's an enjoyable thing to get in there and do that with that many people. So I'd be surprised if down the line that doesn't colour the implementations of new things that they're going to bring in. I mean, if people are busting at the bit to get in there and try this, and I'm sure part of it is that they want the gear and they want all of that and want all of this. But as Sloth's saying, you know, it's the most fun he's had in ages. It's a, you know, like, you know, we've seen this cap of 6 men in the 6-man fire team for, you know, the entire life of Destiny. I think maybe this could be the sort of straw that breaks the camel's back with respect to breaking that open a little bit and seeing bigger fire teams and larger scale battles and stuff like that. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a realistic...
I was going to say before, I would love if they had made a 9-man difficulty activity, but you could match make. So like because I guess people just want to have that feeling. It is a really cool feeling to have 9 people in a friggin' activity, and to be communicating. And it to not necessarily be like a raid, but just to be like, you know, boop them with a tractor cannon, and then you see like 6 Nova bombs just go.
Oh no, right? Yeah.
Like it's just fun, you know. So I would love if they did have something that was like matchmaking just for the fun of like 9 people in an activity. Like I think. I don't know. I guess that they wanted to get that feeling with a public event that like you go in with 3, and I just feel like if the world was more populated, like if that space could have, let's say, 50 people, you know, you would always at least get 9. Like you sort of need to have like an area where there's just heaps of people, and then 9 can like peel off into the activity, so to speak, if that makes sense. But because like the max of the area is 9. You never reach max, and sort of at the moment you sort of need max to get through the activity. So I do think there could be something to help with that. And I don't really know what that is, but personally, like I would love for people to experience that with 9 people at the same time. Like it's sort of completely opposite what we just said before. Like it's not meant to be 9 people. Like, you know, stiff shit sort of stuff. So I know that I'm getting like completely opposites, but you know, I love you to experience 9 people in there as well. I don't know.
You know what they really could do is they could up the power level for the earlier bosses. So your level 1 starts at 375 and goes up from there.
Yeah.
In smaller increments, of course, because they'd have to raise the power level to a quite significant point, and people wouldn't be able to do it. But like, if you're going to have matchmaking for 9+ people, then fuck it, why not? Let's go 375, 385, 395, 405, 415, and you have to have like actually
Just
build a team
proper hard,
to do a air quotes World of Warcraft-esque, you know, dungeon. Like you've got your healers, you've got your DPSs, you've got your tanks, you've got this, you've got that. Like with the tractor cannon adding that suppression and people just throwing slovers like it's going out of fashion. Oh my god! Like, it's so fun, man.
I think there's a real sort of gap now that I sit here and think about it. Like in Destiny, you've sort of got that, you know, like 3-man fire team, strikes, all that sort of shit, the missions and all of that. 3-man fire team, fine. Everyone's on point and everyone knows what they're doing, and you can kind of blast through it. The raids are all really mechanic heavy now. You know, there's no bullet spongy bosses. Yeah. There's no, okay, let's, you know, like it's not a cruisy experience until you're sort of like above the level cap and go back and visit Leviathan now. But if they were to give you a thing that was like, look, all the bosses are just these massive bullet spongy bosses, like they are in Escalation Protocol. It's not so mechanic heavy. It's more strategy heavy, and like I'll hit them with a tractor cannon, and they can put fucking 9 or 12 people in this area, and it's all just about going to town on things. I think it's sort of like a more casual PvE experience. That, you know, like if one person's shit, it doesn't really matter because there's 8 other people. You know, like it's.
Oh,
you know,
I didn't.
I think it could be really.
They would call for tethers today, and I didn't have them. they would call for tethers today, and I didn't have them. I was like, "Am I letting the team down?" And they're like, "Nah, we're just having fun."
But then, like the thing is, like that last week, so you put a bubble at the knight's foot, and you had to use the swords to break the shield, and then once the shield was broken, then you could do DPS. Like that involved timing and communication. Hey, look, there's that term again: communication and friends, or people to play with. But no, you had to have that communication to make sure that people are like, okay, we're not going to rush up and get absolutely trounced by this knight, because it will one-shot you if you're under level, which everyone is for the most part. No, like 80-90% of the Destiny community is under level. You know, I really, really enjoy Escalation Protocol. I can't say that enough.
But at the same time,
someone says to me,
at the same time, man, like if you are under level and you do the wrong thing and you run in and you get blown to smithereens, you just respawn just down the street a little bit and you're back into it. There's no real punishment. And I think that's what makes it such a casual experience. It's not like, I mean, I've only played it with the 3 of us and the occasional few ring-ins. And even then it sort of had that vibe of like, oh, I died. Oh, fuck it. I'll be back there in a minute. And then I'm back. And, you know, all right, you know, like you're more willing to take dumb risks. Oh, I'm going to just go and try and smash this ogre's head in with a fist of havoc because I can. And if I die, then I die and then I'm back. It's not I think I think it could be a real niche filler. I think it could be a real sort of. It depends which way they want to take it, but I mean, it's clear. The community's found a way to give itself what it wanted out of it. Like if you look at it from that perspective.
And the thing is, like, it's a good grind at the moment. Like, I think, like I said before, it's end-game content. You've got 3 months to get through this still, just like you've got 3 months to get through Spire of Stars before you've got new things to grind. And, it's when you get to the point where you've got people on your team, right? And I imagine, like, let's say another month, most people are going to, be close to maybe max level. And you pretty much consistently have about 5 people in Escalation Protocol, like, in that space, right? Yeah. As long as they keep making the end boss drop that loot specific stuff, like it was a sniper this week, and it was so cool to hear people going, "Oh my god, I got the sniper!" Yes, like it was like it's something you just haven't heard in Destiny 2 for so long. Like people getting excited, like, "Oh, let's grind some Escalation Protocol. Let's get to level 7. Let's hope that the boss drops it." And it didn't drop it. Oh, someone got it. Yeah, sweet. I want to keep going. I want to keep grinding. I want to try and get that sniper because that sniper is dope.
You are so
and you know
full
what?
of shit, Matthew.
You
are full of shit. The other night
mean?
when you found out that your brother got that.
Oh fuck!
It was not. He got the sniper. I really want to try it. It was fuck him and the horse he rode in on.
Okay, exactly. You know how long has it been in Destiny 2? You just gone when someone's like, "Hey, I got this." You're like, "Hey, fuck you!" That's Destiny 2's been missing, man, because nothing's been valuable. But now it's like, oh, I really want that, and I hate you for having it. That's what I want to feel.
But this is the thing, is that I hope that they can improve on Escalation Protocol, because it is a very cool concept. Yeah, we saw something very similar with it in Court of Oryx at D1. But it's from a streamer's perspective. Hey, there's that term again, streamers. From a streamer's perspective, it's also one of those things is that you get 9 people in. So tonight, J-Mac, Timmy and I, close friends and I, we've got 9 people. We've pre-organized it. We're going to grind that shit. And it's really good because, like, you can focus on the game, but you can also focus on chat and all that sort of thing. And it's quite good. And you can have a chat with the people who you're actually playing with. I was watching Sniperton play with Buffett up here in the top right corner. And, like, they were talking about the choking blade and the lore behind the fucking choking blade. And like just being complete and utter just silliness. But it was
there was a lot of silliness.
So much fun. It was so much fun just to be a part of that conversation and just sort of have a laugh along and all that sort of thing. It's one of the great things that I really enjoyed about D1 that was kind of missing up until Warmind, is that you didn't really have that. And the 6-man Iron Banner too, that's also really quite good as well, as it just tying into like more people in more activities. Is that Iron Banner? Like we used to run a TA death squad in Iron Banner. And we would just roll around as a clan in Iron Banner and just yell at each other and, just try and be as good at games as possible. But, we're not, because we're shit. But like, it's just, it was that kind of thing is fun, and getting involved with the community. It's a very community-based game, Destiny. Whether you want it to be a small community like the Pineapple Boys, where Sassy and Ets are, who are like, they're very PvP focused. They do trials. They're very, very good. Or you could jump in something like TA. I'm just going to use TA for an example. So Log and Eyes Clan.
Shameless.
We're a big clan. We don't play like we're not as active as as some of them out there, but we like to play games like we see. Oh, there's a TA member. Hey, maybe we should jump in and get him in and all that sort of thing. So it's. I like the community part of the game. I like the social part of the game, because it helps so many people. But it's also good just to catch up with people as well. Like, I've never met Log. Oh, I've known him for 3 years now.
Who are you?
Because he's. Yeah, right.
The other thing that me and Matt found out the hard way the other night is that the fucking skill-based matchmaking in Iron Banner is savage, because we loaded in and we had Sassy on our team, and every game went into just absolute sweat fest
It was rough.
It
mate.
was so rough,
It was
and
rough.
like we're playing against people who are considerably better than us, and Sass is just doing what he does, looking down from the top of the table, and we were just like, oh, I think I had some of the worst games I've ever had, but we were still laughing about it. It was good fun.
What are you plebeians doing down there at the bottom of the table? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Well, look, the other thing I just want to say about Escalation Protocol, right, is you just do the flip side of it, right? And the flip side would be everyone can do it in week 1 or week 2 with 3 to 5 people. Can you imagine the backlash if that is 100% a worse outcome than what it looks like right now? True. If you could do it with 3 to 5 people, with not being max light level, and this has been advertised as end game content, the backlash would be 10 times worse than people complaining that it's too hard at the moment and they don't have any friends.
Right. I feel like something that they were able to do in Warmind, the Warmind DLC, that they hadn't really been able to capture up until this point, and I've said this before other places, is like discoverability, and like the idea that you could go around a corner and find something that you hadn't seen before. You know what I mean? And Escalation Protocol falls into that, as well as like the Escalation Protocol kind of feels like the first time when like you stumble into the Vault of Glass opening and you see 6 people battling it out and you're like, holy shit, what is this? Can I help you with this? And then you do, but those guys disappear. It feels like that, but like you can help out for much longer and complete an activity. So good on them for doing that.
And I just think that they're doing the right thing. They're addressing people and saying like, we hear you, but we're not changing it, basically. Right. And I think the completely right thing to do is see how long it lasts, right? They need to reassess at like 2 months, right? When everyone's much closer to max, and then look at the stats to see how many people are completing it. And you know what? If people still aren't completing or they're not participating, then, you might question, well, this is meant to be end game. People get to the end game and then don't play it. There might be something we can do to optimize that a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into the next thing, right? Because we're doing our thing where we just talk. I mean, I suppose that's what a podcast is at the end of the day, but we do have a list of shit that we're going to try and get through so that people who are listening to it get something out of it. The other thing that's in the pipeline for imminent delivery is the first few exotic Masterworks being released. Armor pieces, I mean. There's a brief of 6 pieces of armor that will be getting the Masterwork treatment before everything else. So they're going to roll them out periodically, which for me, like, when I first read it, I was like, oh, what? They're not doing them all at once. But at the same time, I'm excited. Like, I don't use Lion Rampants now, but I'm going to be sure as hell checking them out now that I can get the Masterwork edition. And I think it allows that sort of drip feed time for you to really digest the armor pieces and that sort of thing. So,
and to play around with them and, try them rather than like jumping straight to the meta or whatever, people are raging about. Yeah. So do you want to go through, you're the Titan Masterclass. What do you think? So the Synthoceps and the Lion Rampant?
Yep. All right. I'll briefly read through them, but I think the important thing to remember with this is that Bungie's ideology with this is to sort of not strip the identity away from things, but to build them up and sort of iterate and improve upon them. So there may be changes in the way you use them, but they will still ultimately be like, like with Lion Rampant. Oh, they're the jump jet boots. Like they're still, Synthoceps is basically, they're going to work much the same way. But all right. Well, as the Titaniest Titan on the Titan panel, I will go through the Titan stuff. We're going to have a fight about who's going to do the Warlock stuff. Matt, you can do it.
I'm a Warlock, mate. I'm a Warlock. And Dan, did you say you were a Hunter before?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
there you go. We got Titan Hunter Warlock. Let's do it.
Sloth, you've been sacked.
I'll
I mean, you can do it if you want. You do a better job of the reading than I do, but it's fine. I'll do it. I'll do the first paragraph at least until everyone butchers me for ripping it off. I'll do this Synthoceps, so you can do Lion Rampant. I'll make you do. All right. Mechanical changes for syntheseps. Jesus, I can't even get through the first word. Previously, the perk adjusted your melee damage depending on the number of enemies surrounding you. Now it grants a flat bonus to melee and super damage when you're surrounded by 3 or more enemies. The buff is retained for a short duration after you are no longer surrounded. So it remains to be seen just how much these buffs are, but it sounds like it'll be a little bit more useful than it was. It says, although syntheseps has gotten a fair bit of love in the Crucible, players are often focused on the increased lunge rate. The outgoing damage bonus was hard to appreciate and plan around with it being so variable in nature. With this change, you should be able to feel the impact more often in all scenarios, particularly in PvP. So
You're going to be punching a lot of shit.
Oh, dude. This is the first one on the list. So I read through this, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be punching heaps of shit. But then I read Lion Rampant after that. Now I don't know which. Am I going to wear the pants or the arms? Who knows? Slothy, do you want to do Lion Rampant? You can do it.
Okay, Lion Rampant. Like, legitimately, my favorite Titan exotic bar none.
Really?
Oh my god, I love them, man. I love being able to have 0 mobility and still outmaneuver a hunter. It's great. Lion Rampant. Mechanical change. You can hip fire while lift is active without interrupting it, and your aerial hip fire doesn't have aerial accuracy penalty. Lion Rampant is focused around lift and how it impacts your playstyle and tactics, so we decided to push it further in that direction, emphasizing fast-moving aerial assault. I love these boots.
That's so cool.
I don't do the hip fire thing. I should probably learn to do that.
I think you will
but
be, yeah.
Lion Rampant, oh my lord. They
There's going to be Titans skating in PvP, jumping above you, flying around, hip firing you with pistols and submachine guns, essentially.
They're so fun. We're in a voice chat. Logets and I were in a voice chat the other day, and he was like, "Answer's just like, I can move super fast with my Titan, but with Lion Rampants, I am the fucking Sonic." Like, just like he legitimately was saying that he could move across the map at the fucking very high rate of knots. They're really good, and they're really good in PvE as well. Instead of going through little hoppy plates in Eater of Worlds, I can go from the last hoppy plate and jump up to where I am and just sit down, go outside, have a smoke while everyone else is, going through the hoppy plates because I'm lazy and not a team player apparently. But no, it's really, really fun. They are really, really fun, and if you're a Titan and you can't decide on a PvP type of boot and you want to move faster than the entirety of the world, Lion Rampants.
Mm-hmm. You've sold me.
They're quite good.
You've sold me.
Yeah, they're quite good.
They're basically jumping Dune marches.
The changes are a bit sort of, how's your father? But you know what? I like moving fast. Anyway, Hunter. Damn.
All right. The Hunter, the Dragon Shadow. Mechanical changes. Dodging reloads all weapons simultaneously. The effects of Wraith Metal Mail now also include a bonus to mobility. Although the Dragon Shadow does have a small following, we wanted to make it more useful in a general sense under even neutral conditions, while keeping it in theme of a fast-moving ninja.
It's a great theme.
I have not seen these.
As a hunter, I have never used it.
So here's the question: would you pick these over your, like hunters? I just think of the pants that give you bloody shadow shot every time,
Morpheus.
and God, I can't think of the names, and the Nighthawk, the helmet they give you the one shot, Celestial Nighthawk. So
for this and like the other one, the Mechaneer's trick sleeves, it seems like I'm looking at, because I did not know the armor perk for the Dragon Shadow initially, because like I said, it is a chest piece that I was like, oh, that looks cool, and then I saw the perk and was like, I'll never use that, and got rid of it.
Infusion fuel, yay! Every time,
yay!
Yeah. And so, but like looking at it, it says grants increased movement and weapon handling speed for a short time after dodging. Cool. On Destiny Tracker, they have a handy little review thing where you can check to see. It seems like it's really useful in PvP.
Yeah.
Like it, but like it's it's one of those pieces that I'm a PvE guy. If I don't feel like it would have an application for me in a raid, then I'm not necessarily gonna like go out of my way for it. Then Mechaneer's trick sleeves, those look awesome. The mechanical changes, swapping to a firearm while critically wounded greatly increases its damage. We went for the fantasy of a holdout weapon, the pistol tucked in your sleeve that you pull out in an emergency to save you. These changes should let you turn around a fight more easily. I can see that being useful with like Sturm and Drang, but I don't.
I didn't even think of the Sturm and Drang combo.
Yeah, I can see it in that, or like when I want to play James Bond with whatever the Iron Banner sidearm is, because that's my favorite thing. That was my favorite thing to do in D1 was take an Iron Wreath and just go around popping people in the head. That was really fun.
That was a good gun.
But it's such a good gun. But yeah, I mean, these seem very PvP situational. So I'm not as a hunter. I'm not necessarily totally excited about these changes.
I guess that
what do
makes
you
sense,
currently
because
use?
hunters have good PvE already, I guess, right? With their exotics.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use? What do you use as your exotics for your hunter?
I use the Orpheus rigs all the time. Celestial Nighthawk.
Yeah.
The chest piece for the Arc Strider. I'm just getting an Arc Strider. So it I use those things. I just got the Frosties, so I need to start using those a little bit more just to see if I can turn a corner on a Titan a little bit faster. But other than that, like those are the three go-tos. But, yeah, those are the three go-tos for me.
Right.
Like, don't.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. You're gonna really have to get a lot of bang for your buck out of these Masterworks to want to change. I mean, that's like, I run Dune Marches now on the Titan, and you can kind of go, well, Lion Rampant. If I'm gonna get more bang for my buck out of that, I'm gonna jump straight on it. I think honestly, having read through all of these, the hunters, they're the most sort of context sensitive. Like trick sleeves, you've got to be 90% dead before it even counts.
Yeah,
you know, it'd want to fucking one shot someone.
It just. Legitimately, with the Mechaneer's trick sleeves, like if you had like you said, Dan, the Sturm and Drang would be incredible. Like I reckon that'd be go right. But yeah, you'd have to be under a fair amount of damage, and the sidearm would have to do a lot, a lot. Yeah.
And it's so situational.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what it feels like. And I'm not saying that situation won't pop up. But like for 90% of the hunter population, who knows?
Well, I mean, anything that needs to be triggered on critically wounded means that you're in a fucking tight spot and you're either dead already, or you're about to imminently die, or I don't like things that only proc when shit's going down bad. Like it means you can't initiate.
Unless they bring in the Wormwood Year 3 type meta again, and then they might be the fucking talk of the town. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I'm gonna let the jury sit on this one until I get killed by some fucking asshole that I'm pretty sure I've completely got handled, and he turns around and just brrr with a sidearm and destroys me.
Last hope right here.
This also leads to an interesting thing though, where in Destiny 1, there was a lot of different things that you could do that would reward a niche gameplay. You know what I mean? It would reward you if you were a player that did fit inside that entire spectrum.
Yeah.
And these are very niche changes for the people who want to be who want to use this and want to be rewarded. And that I think is a positive for that type of change.
Yeah, I guess it forces a particular play style. And if you can master that play style, then you're gonna love it. All right, Matt.
You're gonna knock it out of the park.
Do you want to
Dude, I just have to say the Warlock exotics pisses all over everything, right? The Lunification boots, you no longer have to dip in and out.
Listen, if you're gonna come in here and thank you, yeah.
Sorry.
Read what's written, man.
Look,
PhD. You fuck.
look, shut up. I got excited. Look, you don't have to dip in and out anymore to get the of the healing rift or the empowering rift to get the reload. It's just going to automatically reload your weapon. So you could be sitting on there with sweet business and just do nothing. Just DPS for days. Just literally keep firing the whole time until you ran out of bullets.
When I first read that, I was thinking, Titan, like, not that a class is needed for any sort of individual part of the original Leviathan raid, but if you had 4 warlocks running Lunafaction boots, and they pop a rift, an empowering rift here, and then an empowering rift here, and then
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Like,
it's sort of like you don't need rally barricades. You don't even have to duck, man. You just stand in it.
Legitimately, that's cool. That is very cool. That
This
makes
is
those
bullshit.
boots exotic.
This is.
Just
They took our
rockets,
jobs. What are the fucking Titans going to do in the raid anymore?
We'll just throw
jobs.
hammers. We'll just throw hammers and still hit 5 million DPS because
Yeah, good.
hunters.
but here's the thing, right? I don't get the reload. It's only allies. You guys get the reload.
It's because you're a warlock. You suck.
I've still got to fucking
Suck
reload.
shit, Matt's playing support. Get out.
Right? Like, I'm pretty sure it's only allies. I might have to read it. I'm
Can't
pretty
you
sure
just
it's
drop
allies.
2 on top of each other and then, like, really?
You would have to, but that would be a waste, right?
It would
Oh,
be an
it's
absolute.
all right, Matt. I'll still drop a rally barricade. You can duck like a peasant.
Can you please drop a rally barricade for me, please? Just reloading, guys.
All right. What's the other rubbish?
Sun braces. Look, I don't quite know exactly what this means because it sounds ridiculous. So, original effect replaced with increases duration of solar grenades. So, I mean, that's what it was before, right? Solar melee kills grant unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time. So what? You get a melee kill with your a solar melee kill, and you can just spam grenades. Solar grenades.
That's what it looks like to me. Probably with a little bit of cooldown, but that's what it looks like.
Is that what it means? Oh yeah. Okay. So maybe it just keeps charging. Is so like Radiance from Destiny 1, like Sunsing and Radiance?
Maybe. You know, you might have to wait 3 or 4 seconds for it to come back, but
Unlimited. Well done, hunters. You get to fucking pull a pistol out when you're wounded while someone get unlimited.
You know what, Matt? You can. When you get control of your jump and actually can floof from plate to plate, then we'll be afraid. Until then, get out.
yeah, you have to be able to get close enough to hit someone. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. No, I mean, like, now you just hit an ad and you can just spam solar grenades that have increased duration. That's going to be some crazy DPS, I think.
I think so.
That is kind of cool because, like, I'm not sure how much of the new, like, armor pieces you guys have gotten from the PvP correction, the PvE encounters in the Leviathan, but if you melee something, get a melee kill with something, and then you jump up on the plate at Callus per se, you have striking hand where you do extra damage for 10 seconds. That and solar grenades are just going that fucking Callus, like, you, oh my lord, like you that's incredible.
And sweet business that you don't need to reload.
And what if you stack it with your mods that give like solar energy back quicker as well?
Yeah, right. Like that's pretty cool. These okay, like these changes, all jokes and all bullshit and all yelling aside, because that's basically 90% of this podcast. But these changes to these specific exotics make them exotic. Yeah. Like there are some exotics that actually feel exotic, and some of them are just like, come on now.
I'll go a step further, Sloth, and I'll say that some of these changes make these exotics erotic. Anyway.
Okay. No, it legitimately that well done on
That look
making
cool,
these
man.
changes. They like the Mechanist trick sleeves. That is definitely for people who can pull off a 360 420 no scope wall bang. Can survive at 1 health for 15 minutes because they're a fucking god. But if people can pull that off, more power to them. Like these make the game, like these make the exotics 100% more exotic, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I won't lie, man. I won't lie. I feel for hunters. Like,
Yeah.
I feel bad now that we've all read through this. I read the Warlock
Yeah,
ones and I
right.
saw that they were strong, but now that I'm sitting here thinking of it, talking through real life applications of it, I'm like, really, it's just the Dragon's Shadow and the ability to reload all of your guns with a dodge. That's right. There's a bit of utility in that, but fuck.
You say that, but like you throw on the Celestial, bulk damage.
Yeah.
You throw on the Orpheus, orbs for days. You throw on what's the thing that gives you extra Shinobu's Vow. Throw on Shinobu's Vow, gives you fucking bulk grenades for that. Like
grenades. Yeah.
It's I think the hunter stuff, although not as exotic as, let's say, the Lunafaction boots or the what else we've discussed here today, but like some of the hunter exotics actually feel exotic. It actually it gives me it gives me a warm feeling in my that's piss. No, it gives me it makes me happy. It makes me happy.
Fucking incontinence. Let's go.
That's why I always install a catheter before a podcast.
Hey,
I'm gonna do that before I stream.
It makes me happy that they've brought everything. They've brought these ones up to par, which is quite good. Yeah. I really like the way that they're moving forward with this, and this, just to throw back and only throw back, and that's it. This is where the whole microtransaction emote thing sort of came out of fucking way left field, because they're making all these changes and listening to the community summit, bringing back the lore, this, that, and the other, and then they bring this shit in. I don't think it's Bungie. I think it might be Blizzard Activision, honestly. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's good changes, and Bungie, you've Bungie and the developers who are coming up with these ideas, and the team leads and all that sort of thing. Well done. Like, honestly, well done.
Speaking of Bungie, the Bungie bounty, the Bungie versus Vicarious Visions this week. So I guess we're going to find out who really is the master of Destiny now. With such, honestly, Vicarious Visions port to the PC. The PC version of the game is fucking incredible. Warmind is incredible. Congratulations to everything they've done so far. And I mean, I'm still going to go for the Bungie dudes. Still.
Nah, man, I'm going to go for VV, man.
You're going to go for VV?
I'm going to get... Well, it depends on what platform they're playing on, though.
What, you think they're going to have some inherent advantage if they play on PC?
I reckon Team VV have more PC players. They have more PC players than console players. Bungie, I think due to Sony locking down most of the new releases and all that sort of thing, I think Bungie has more console players. I think VV has more PC players. If they play on PC, I reckon VV will win. If they play on console, I reckon Bungie may win. I think they may win, honestly.
Hey, Mylan, how many consoles did they have at Bungie when you were there?
Oh, a lot. Like, they were all on console.
But did everyone have a computer on their desk?
No, well, so look, we didn't see the work officers, you dickhead.
Why not? I just thought you were just walking around in there while they were trying to get shit done.
He's walking around. He's got...
No.
I'll tell you about the law.
Barrett under one arm. He's got Deej under the other. He's like, what's going on, boys? We're going in. Let's take for a walk through the dev studios. Take them through the mine lab. Let's go.
We didn't go through
an apple.
The officers as such. They converted I don't know if it's always like this, but their motion capture studio, they had basically like you would do like a competitive game, or like you would do with a massive LAN party. It was just 2 rows or 3 rows of tables with with monitors on either side, and then the PS4 dev kit with you know, Destiny loaded on there, and you're just playing on PlayStation. So I imagine they would use PlayStation as like if they're doing inter-office stuff. I imagine they'd probably be on PlayStation.
I would like to see. Now, this is a business decision that it goes way above like Christopher Barrett and the team leads, pay grades, and all that sort of thing. But I would love Bungie to piss off PlayStation, to piss off Sony. I say piss off, to get out of that contract with Sony and actually just have full release for everything. Maybe have the premiere version on PC.
Yeah,
Bungie,
I don't know. It's never going to happen.
Destiny
If they've made deals with exclusives, man, Activision's going to keep that shit up.
No, I know, but I'm of the firm belief, and I know you are, Matt, and I know you are, Log, that PC is the. We think that PC is the premier way to play Destiny 2. Dan, what console do you play? What do you play on?
I am on PlayStation and Xbox at the moment. Once I get a better graphics card rolling, we'll start talking about PC. But
well, you're not coming back until you get it on PC, buddy.
Yeah, man.
All right, that sounds good.
Actually, I didn't realize that you weren't on PC, or you would never have been here to begin with. Sorry, man.
I did purchase it. Humble Bundle had it for like $12. This month.
There's a lot of people jumped over. And honestly, if they keep doing that every fucking 3 months or around content release windows and stuff like that, I think a lot of people will gradually make the shift, because it's just, I don't know. There's so many little things that are just. I mean, I'm looking at it through fresh eyes, because my Keg picked it up 2 weeks ago, and I've had the ability to play through with someone who's just changed over to PC. And I think that, it's just runs like silk, but, we can't all be there yet. The other thing that I just want to touch on before we get into maybe a couple of questions from the chat and piss off, Bungie have signed a deal with Blizzard Publishing.
Interesting. I saw someone tweet that at Bife.
Yeah. So do you think that we might finally be starting to see this for Destiny bookie books? Do you think?
Fuck, man, I'm gonna have to. And when I do more research, I'm now gonna have to read a fucking book as well.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, reading. Fuck.
When I worked at a library, one of my main focuses was to help to build the graphic novel section, and one of the things that we got was a collection of the Overwatch comics.
Yep.
When those came out, or when that came out as a hardback book, it wouldn't surprise me if that's probably what they're angling at with the comic books that they've released for Destiny 2 so far. It would be awesome to see some novelizations and some other comics and stuff pop up, but I could definitely see that as an option. The graphic novel compilation of everything, graphic novel wise, that we've received so far.
I'm heaps less excited about that. At least the first chapter of it. Anyway, we're not going down that fucking particular line of questioning. But all right, if you're rocking on in chat, unfortunately we can't put the chat up on screen because we've got Dan's pretty logo in the way, and I don't want to move it because it's nice. It's an Infinity made of D's, so just dicks for Infinity, I guess.
Infinity. While the chat spools up some questions, there's one thing I do want to touch about real quick, guys, is that recently, and I say recently, it was yesterday morning, a powerhouse of the game critic world, a powerhouse of the podcasting world in regards to the video game industry and all that sort of thing. John Bain, TotalBiscuit, passed away of bowel cancer, leaving behind his son and his wife Jenna. If you see anything on Twitter from the bigger content creators, I'll sure as shit retweet them out and all that sort of thing. People raising money for the family. Please think about donating a few bucks, because there's nothing more than this I can say is fuck cancer. Honestly, legitimately, fuck it. It is the worst thing ever, and when you're looking at me and I'm 39, you're looking at Log and he's 34, and Matt's a babble. But you know, like it sort of goes, well, I mean, if someone who is younger than us can be taken as early with that sort of stuff, it really puts things in perspective. So if you're a man and you're over the age of 30, and I'd probably go to say if you're over the age of 25, get yourself checked. Legitimately get yourself checked. It's uncomfortable, but if you can pick up prostate cancer and all that, if they can pick that up early, it is absolutely treatable. All right. So Matt, unfortunately, his girlfriend, his partner, Danny, lost her father to cancer.
Prostate.
Our prostate cancer. Our friend, our very good friend and brother from TA, Bungie, lost his father to cancer on Christmas last year. It's a fucked situation. So if you're a male and you're between 25 and over the age of 25, get yourself checked. And if you see anything on Twitter in regards to a fundraising event, i.e. from Boogie 2988, Angry Joe, like those kind of video game pundits, if you see something for Jenna Bain and her family, John Bain and his family, please think about donating just a few dollars. It helps. And if you don't know who he is, go onto YouTube, look him up. TotalBiscuit, one word, look him up. He's a very, very intelligent man. He's a very funny man. He did the Co-optional podcast for nearly 450 episodes, if not more. But yeah, anyway. All right. First question is that from Exiled Dark Elf. Now that we are 2 weeks in, what do you like? What do you like the best? PvP, PvE lore about Warmind? Dan, what is your favorite part about the Warmind DLC, my friend?
Oh man, right now, so like I said earlier, is the discoverability of things. Whether that I've really liked how they've kind of re-implemented a bit of lore back into Warmind, and how that directly ties in with things in game right now, especially when it comes to I saw the word lines I think it was More Console. I think More Console had a video about World Line Zero, some of the if you look at some of the design things on that weapon, you can see them in the Vex Mythoclast, and so that maybe LC Bray helped design that weapon as well. But just stuff like that, little glimpses here and there. It's all about discoverability. It's all about telling a story in a different way that isn't necessarily just a lore tab that you have to read in game and not outside of it. Stuff like that I've really been enjoying.
Okay, cool.
I think the scannables, man, are just so much better with the concierge AI.
Yes.
The voiceover for that is so engaging. He is a perfect person to be in there narrating as a concierge AI in the Clovis Bray. I think I've always been wondering how they're going to.
Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
How good is
that? It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. And it's would you like to know more? And you scan it, and it's proper lore too. It's not one-liners or obscure stuff. It's proper accessible to someone who's never played Destiny before or never read any Grimoire cards or never know anything about Clovis Bray. You can go up to it and you can scan it, and it's accessible. And if you do know a lot, there's hidden stuff in there as well. And I think I hope they keep going that direction with scannables, that's how it should be. And then what you do is you put in your other sort of hidden scannables, which are your Prince Aldrin scannables that are you need to know a little bit about what's going on from them to make sense. So you have this terminal idea where you've got a terminal and it's narration and it's quite a lot of detail and it's very accessible and sort of new player friendly. And then you've got hidden scannables, which Prince Aldrin, and I'll put Nokris's statue in that thing too, from Destiny 1. There you kind of bigger questions. Scannable's like, what does that mean? Is that going to be a future plot line? Is he still alive? What happened to the reef? It's a dark, like they're the other type of Scannable. So I think that's a cool balance to have. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Dan.
So you're ready and that law, Matt.
Max Panther and
Matt's favorite thing is law. Who'd have fucking thought?
Max Panther in chat corrected me. It was unknown player, not more console. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Oh, well, that's all. I mean, yeah. It's good to see that the law has made a return and has made a return quite as large as it has done. It's I'm still going to say my favorite part of the favorite individual part of Warmind DLC is going into the Lost Sector, in at the bottom of the map there, and you can scan and it's like, oh, Prince Aldrin's ship. Mm-hmm. Well. What's happening? Like that. What? That is my favorite part, of the entire DLC. I know that seems quite small, but Prince Aldrin, TTK, the Queen of the Reef. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! That were huge parts of Destiny for me, at least.
I think they've done a really good job of just reintroducing the mystery to a few things.
Yeah,
that's. I think Curse of Osiris really struggled with that because it was like they answered so many questions and didn't pose any particular new ones. I think this is really, really hit the nail on the head with that. For mine, honestly, I'm just enjoying the sandbox. I know it's a bit of a mulligan answer, but seriously,
no, exotics, man.
It's having all these new guns. I'm really excited about Masterwork armor coming. The exotic armor, sorry. I'm really excited about that. I really want to see, some of these things that we've had in our inventory for half a year now or however long go full tilt, and I'm hoping that they get the same level of treatment that the weapons have gotten. But that's my answer. Just jumping in on Etsy's question there, I am sick of shooting armored space turtles. Which faction would you like to see next, or do you think we might get a new faction in September?
I want to shoot space triangles, that's all.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Which faction do you want to see next, or do you think we might get a new faction? Look, I do think they're overdue for a new enemy. I think September would be the perfect time to release it. My hope is that they didn't have so much other stuff to fix that they had to, not prioritize. Because I guess if Destiny 2 launched perfectly, right, and it didn't need, there wasn't as many things that needed attention, you would have to say that, fuck, we definitely get a new enemy in September.
Yeah.
But if you look at their to-do list, if you look at even the milestones they need to reach, and all the things that they're trying, and all the things that they're implementing, and all the things that we heard at the summit, you have to question whether they would have time to put something new in. I hope we do, but I'm not sure. I want to. I think it needs that freshness. I think new enemies will give it an element of freshness, but it could be Siva. It could be something like that coming back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I reckon it needs to be the triangle ships for mine.
Siva.
I don't think we'll see those until years.
Yeah.
No, I want to see them. I want my triangle ships. I want them now.
Want Toblerone now?
Looking at the roadmap that's at the end of the game, you have the next two destinations. You had Earth, then you scoped out to Mercury, then you scoped out to Mars and Phobos. You keep scoping out, and you reach the reef, and then the dreadnought, and then out of our possible solar system, and that's when you started reaching the space Doritos, right?
Yeah, okay.
Space
Doritos.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Wholesale stealing that.
So So I didn't come up with that. I think so. I think I heard that somewhere. But like,
They're like the 3D space Doritos. Did Doritos do that for a while? What were those chips that were like
they did.
hollow,
They
but they
had
were
like
3D?
they had
you
air
know?
pockets in them, and they
Yeah.
tasted weird, right?
Yeah, those ones. Yes. 3D space
Like-
Doritos.
So, like-
do you know what these guys are on about?
No.
I don't know what they're on about.
But no, that's the last. That's the
Thanks.
last video. After you finish the campaign, that's like
Yeah.
what the Traveler's Light searches, and it hits all these places. So,
Yeah.
man, if it's not the Reef and the Dreadnought in September, I'll be surprised.
But aren't they
Yeah, I
moving?
reckon-
Aren't they
I
fucking
understand
moving? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm happy with Space Doritos, though. I don't want to eat whatever that was you were talking about, though. That was... My body is a temple. I'm going to burn it down. Right. I think that'll do it
Mine's
for
an amusement
this week.
park.
I think that'll do it for this week. Dan, thank you very much for making the time to come on. I would assume you've come
You guys-
from a podcast and are going to a podcast, so I really appreciate the time. It's been well overdue. We've spoken about it for a while now, and I'm glad that we're going to get back on the horse with having people on and all that sort of stuff. And I'm glad that you were
Absolutely.
our first to be gentle with us.
And well, absolutely. Well, and this also, there's an open invitation to all you guys if you ever want to be a guest on SideQuest Sunday. Thank you guys so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Dan. It was
Thanks for
really,
joining
really
us,
good.
dude.
And just remember, until you
Guys-
get a PT, never again.
Never again. Got it. Got it.
Got
It's
it.
I wrote that down on my post-it note over here. Thank you so much.
Good.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are watching the Twitch chat, thank you for joining us live. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's
And the bell. Isn't the bell really important now, Matt? Didn't I
Yeah,
see-
the bell is really
Okay.
important now
Yeah,
too,
look,
apparently. But no. Shush.
Let him say his thing. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, poor old Matt. Oh. Get back in here. Make sure you hit that bell. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And apparently there's an issue with YouTube being a butt cheek. So look out for us every week. One podcast per week, and all that sort of thing. What were you going to say, Matthew?
Okay, it's not an issue, right? So this is functioning as intended, right? YouTube confirmed in your subscription feed, if you subscribe to someone, they still filter your subscription feed based upon what they think you want to see. So how this plays out, right, is people aren't playing Destiny, right? Let's say like in the low dark times of Destiny 2, right? People aren't watching Destiny 2 videos. They aren't looking up quest videos. They aren't looking at news videos, right? So they're not consuming Destiny, but they might still be interested in a lore video. I release a lore video. They're subscribed to me. YouTube will go, oh, well, they're not interested in Destiny. They haven't looked at Destiny. The browser history doesn't have anything to do with Destiny. They haven't watched more console. They haven't watched Unknown Player. We're not going to show Marlon's video in their sub feed. The only way to guarantee that a YouTube video from your content creator will end up in your subscription feed is if you hit the bell button.
Yeah.
Man.
So if you want to watch us carry on like idiots for an hour and a half, make sure you hit that bell button. Guys, if you are not following Dan on Twitch and Twitter, the links are in the chat and the links will be in the description below for the YouTubers. Does the SideQuest Sunday, does the Twitch streaming, and just tweets at stuff and all that sort of thing. So make sure you go check him out. He's a really, really good dude. Thank you very much for coming on. Make sure you check out Matt at where he does his thing, and make sure you check out Mike where he does
At
his
Merlin
thing.
Games.
At Merlin
Merlin.
Games. Yeah, if you at Merlin Games on Twitter, at LogPowerSlave on Twitter, or at Realtime Sloth on Twitter. Guys, thank you very much for watching.
No worries.
You guys
I
have
mean,
a safe weekend. Do the things. Yeah.
it's funny because it's like now I know why no one watches our podcast. I just thought it was because we were shit, but it's just YouTube's fault. Anyway, bye.